No, no, not Victor.
Huh?
It was me.
Oh, you?
It was me.
I don't want it.
Everyone says it's him. Everyone says it's Frankenstein is the one that can do everything. Victor, Victor, Victor. It's me. I did it. I did it. It was me.
Daddy!
Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of interactive literature. We're going to show you and tell you a few things about the who, what, where, and how of interactive literature.
Interactive literature, which is also known as live-action role-playing, is a combination of improvisational theater and tabletop gaming. Perhaps you've seen some of the murder mystery packages that you can buy. Well, the great advantage of interactive literature is that everyone is a main character. Everyone has an important part to play. There are no minor characters, and it's a chance for people to be an actor, for an adult to play make-believe. However, unlike being an actor in a play, nothing is scripted and there's no predefined sequence of scenes. As in real life, different things happen at the same time, and your only audience might be one other player. There are all sorts of subjects on which interactive literature events have been based.
There have been games based on historical events, both meticulously researched historical dramas and lighter historical fantasy games. There have been events ranging from one about the passengers on the Titanic to the Wild West scenario you'll be seeing later on, to the Byzantine Empire or ancient Rome. There have been fantasy and science fiction games, from Swords and Sorcery to a convention of wizards in modern Baltimore, to gritty cyberpunk futures. There have been games based on literature, from Arabian Nights to the plays of William Shakespeare. There have also been games based on films and television.
In interactive literature, the action is in interacting with other people, but you don't interact as yourself. Instead, you are playing a character and interacting with the characters that the other people are playing. But you don't have to make it all up on the spot. As with a murder mystery, you are supplied with a character background that makes you part of the situation and gives you connections with the other characters. There may be a few players at someone's house or 100 or more at a hotel for the weekend. A group of writers create the characters as they are at the start of the game, and each player takes it from there. The authors, or game masters, also provide information that comes from sources outside the characters in the game and provide a little direction to help the players along.
The Interactive Literature Foundation is an organization for writers and players of live role-playing games. The ILF has about 200 members across the U.S. and in several foreign countries. You do not have to be a member of the organization to play in live role-playing games. We've gathered players who've played in a number of live role-playing games to tell us about some of their experiences. To start off, perhaps you could tell us about the favorite character that you've played in a game.
Well, I'd have to say that one stands out in particular. I played it in 2 games. It's a character named by the name of Roland White. He was the premier dark mage in the game you mentioned of the Convention of Wizards. He was the bad guy. And by the second time I played him, I got people noticing me at conventions when I wasn't in character and pointing me out and knowing me as Roland White. And that was kind of an ego trip. And it was just a very well-written and fun character to play in general, that it was just, you know, the reputation that went with it. I really got into that.
All right. Someone else.
Oh, same question. I very much enjoyed English nobleman on the Titanic, Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon, who was historically a real person who has a footnote in the history books for being a lifeboat hog. But in this game, he had strong justification for that because he was on a mission for the crown.
One interesting aspect of interactive literature events is that because they take place in other situations than from the so-called real world, we can sometimes learn things. What have people learned and found out in games?
I certainly did a lot of reading about the Byzantine Empire in the game Golden Horn, which was set in Byzantium. I was playing the Empress of the time, Dowager Empress to the young Emperor, and I did a lot more reading about Byzantium than I had done since I was in college.
I think that one of the basic things you get out of role-playing is self-confidence. I had never before had to get up on a stage in front of anyone. This is when I started writing games, and talk to 120 people and get across a message, what I wanted them to do or accomplish. And it's helped a lot.
Well, I think the most important thing that I've been learning, and I can't say I've really learned it yet because it's not it's an ongoing process, is the ability to think on my feet. I mean, you just don't make points, or you don't make it very far in the game if somebody's pointing a gun in your face and demanding the money and you don't have it and all you can say is ahem and ahem and ahem. It's just not going to do you very much good. You have to think and think fast.
John, what would you say is the funniest situation you've ever gone through in a live game?
Oh, funniest thing I've ever gone through in a game is me and a person named Lawrence Schick had to give briefings to people, which was basically assemble groups of people and tell them what they were going to do and send them out to do it. Well, unfortunately, me and Lawrence had been scheduled to do it at the same time in the same room. So I would start off with my briefing, Lawrence would say part of his briefing, I'd say part of his briefing, then he'd go into part of my briefing. I'd add on a few things that had never been in either briefing, and basically by the end of the entire thing, me and Lawrence were both on the floor in laughter, and the people we were briefing were so confused we knew they'd never get anywhere.
Gus, you've in a number of games have played more than one character because something that you get to do in a game is a character can die and you're not done with the game for the weekend. You can then pick up and do some more, and was wondering if you could relate a tale of what that is like.
Of course, the main example of that in my career, and probably in anyone's, was in the Western game where I kept getting killed. I mean, the first time I volunteered for it to be the demonstration of the combat system, but then I guess it became a habit. Every character I got walked into the wrong place at the wrong time, and I had to come back for another one. I went through 8 characters in that.
Yeah.
It's appalling.
John, what was your favorite character that you've played in a game?
I'd have to say my favorite character to play was probably Andrew Carnegie, which I played in 1897 Queen's Diamond Jubilee, which was it was a lot of fun to play someone that rich. It was amazing to have people wander around and grovel to me for the money they knew I'd give away. But it was also fun to be involved in backroom dealings with the Parliament and trying to get my philosophy across to various people.
As we mentioned, it's called interactive literature because the main thing is interacting, and what we see here is where a lot of the amusement is coming from talking with other people in character. Has anybody had things where, you've been so excited, you've been talking to people in character, you kind of lose sight of, what's really happening? I know in the game that took place in, that was supposed to be the Wizards in Baltimore, somebody said, look, there's a dragon in Baltimore Harbor, and everybody ran to the window to look out, and was wondering if other people had similar experiences.
Well, just recently, this Halloween, I played in a game called Terror on the Thames, which was another one set in Victorian times, but emphasizing more the lurid side of things, Penny Dreadful, Sherlock Holmes, the Ripper, things like that. And also there was a strong H.P. Lovecraft element to it, and I was the linchpin, the central person in a ritual that was going on to cast out the darkness, and I forgot that I was in a game. I just got so caught up in it that I really believed that this was happening, and when it was over, I just fell over from exhaustion. I had been so caught up in it.
The Wall Street high finance game Takeover, the game of corporate raiders. Some of us got extremely carried away in that, even though the characters that we were given were very minimal. It's just, you are CEO of this corporation. But the dealing got so very intense towards the end as there was a bank crisis, and people were fighting for their very fiscal lives, and some people still haven't forgiven one another for just things that went on with just pieces of paper, man. It's just plain number money. No, he is trying to destroy my corporation. It was memorable.